Now let's say we want to control pollution. I don't like the pollution that is being emitted from Georgia Pacific. They just got a permit in the last 6 months to increase their dumping into the St. Johns River. Well, dumping, of course, but to increase their dumping into the St. Johns River by about 40%, 43%. And so let's say I don't like that. Well, the way that we usually control that type of conduct is through regulations. There are other ways that we can control it. We can have a revolution, and we can go and burn down all those factories. It's not in vogue in the United States right now. It might be something we have to turn to in the future. I don't know. I'm not recommending it. I'm an establishment. Other ways that we could expect change from Georgia Pacific is they have some type of internal epiphany. That the CEOs of Georgia Pacific are going to sit around one day. They're going to be in a dark room, perhaps some candles will be lit. They're going to have an epiphanic moment. And they're going to say that we need to stop putting profit above all else, and we need to protect the environment. We can wait for that, and it actually does happen on occasion. Every once in a while you hear of a CEO of a large corporation who comes forward and says, we're going to change our practices. But we can't expect the profit motive to be subjected to ethics. The profit motive will usually have obligations or responsibilities. And with regards to rights, she specifies various rights that humans have. Two of the rights that really stand out is that we have a right to be informed and we have a right to consent. So if I'm going to be arrested, can I be arrested for a law that's not written on the books? I mean, I could be if I lived in Iraq and Saddam Hussein. I could be if I lived in any type of Libya. Right now, they can retroactively write the laws. So after they've arrested me, they can say, oh, this is the law that you violated. I could have been if I lived in the Spanish Empire or the English Empire. But we have developed a system of jurisprudence that says that you cannot, the government cannot take action against you unless it has already established and communicated the rules that cannot be violated. So there has to be a right to consent. And then being a member of society, I implicitly consent to that rule. This idea of the right to consent is actually pervasive. Can a woman be forced to reproduce in the United States? To consent to it. Can I be forced to marry Melissa? Or actually, I should actually turn around. Can Melissa be forced to marry me? Of course not. She has an ask. She can say no. In our culture, she can say no. Of course, this is a fairly new construct, this idea of this right to consent. Another right that we have is I'm sorry, I actually reversed it a little bit. Allow me to flip back to the first one. The first one is the right to be informed. The second one is the right to be consent, or the right to consent. So we have a right to be informed about something, and we have a right to either consent to it or to refuse it. Now, if we take these and we apply them to pollution, in particular, I'm thinking here chemical pollution, but as well as Georgia Pacific, most people don't know what's happening there. If we do not know what is happening with that pollution, if we are not informed about the chemical compounds and the neurological effects of the chemicals that are being produced in the United States. Louisiana is a big hotspot for that. Indiana is a big hotspot for that. We have a lot of hot chemical areas. If we don't know about those, then we cannot consent to the harm that we are exposed to. So if we don't know about something, we cannot consent to the harm. So if they do pollute our environment and we are in fact harmed, then we are fundamentally losing our constitutional rights. Our constitutional rights are being undermined. Very basic common law principles. The idea of being informed and the idea of consent. So this is the first thing that Schrader-Frechetta argues, is that we have the right to be informed and we have the right to consent. Those are being violated right now. She also takes up a separate argument, that we have obligations and responsibilities. And she refers to these as the ethical responsibilities of citizens. She has a long list of ethical responsibilities, but two that stand out and they're related. We have an ethical responsibility to recognize our benefits. We have all benefited. We are all contemporaneously, right now, benefiting from pollution. Every single person in the chairs that you're sitting on, tables, there's everything. Everything in here, reprocessed air, all this stuff we're benefiting from the pollution that's generated. And we also, of course, benefit as an accumulation of wealth through history. All the pollution that was much more egregious in the past throughout the Industrial Revolution, we are benefiting from that. So we have an ethical responsibility to recognize that. The second one that's closely related is that we have an ethical responsibility to oppose harm if we ourselves are part of that harm. And so if we are part of the harm of pollution, we have an ethical responsibility to oppose that harm. And so this is the point that she's driving home. And it's a very interesting one. If you think about the same thing, if you're whatever, if you sit on a child and the child is screaming, you're harming the child, you have an ethical responsibility to get up there. You can say, or you can say, oh, I didn't mean to sit on the kid. I never really intended to sit on the kid. I mean, like, I didn't know the kid was there. The kid's going to get crushed. You have an ethical responsibility to reduce the harm that you are part of causing. The final point I want to move to is social movements. Now, a social movement, there are all types of definitions of social movement, but it's a collective action, a citizen-based collective action that strives to bring about deliberate and specific social change that is intended to be enduring social change. So just real quick, a social movement does not include riots. Social movement does not include me being alone picketing something. So let's say, whatever, I don't like aqua. Bad memory, so I come here, I picket, no aqua on the walls, no aqua on the walls. That's not a collective action, that's me being a freak. And I'm not going to do it. I will harbor that animosity silently. But if I were to pick it alone, that would not be a social movement. A social movement is a collective action. It's people coming together. And it has many different variables. Some people will be letter-writing campaigns. Some people will be donating money. Some people will be doing door-to-door canvassing. Some people will be picketing. There will be multiple organizations. So the social movement, for instance, the environmental social movement, that's sort of the quintessential post-World War II social movement in the United States. So we have the Sierra Club, the Nature Conservancy, and then we have ELF, and we have all types of organizations that are involved. Some people are just giving money, some people are going to writing letters, whatever. Some people are volunteering their time, like pro bono lawyers throughout the country, doing work for environmental lobbyists, etc. So there's a lot of people involved. It's not a single organization. But the great thing about social movement is the idea of agency, the ability to act upon it. Agency it's a big philosophical issue, and again, if there's any philosophers in here, my heart goes out to you. I wasted 4 years myself. But agency is, I'm kidding on that one, it was a great degree. Pursue it. Agency is the ability to act upon it. So I have demonstrated human agency over the chair. That's agency. That's a very simple model. It's actually one of the cornerstone debates in philosophy is what has agency. Throughout Enlightenment, there was this idea that humans had a monopoly on agency, that we act on things. And then sociology introduced the idea of systemic agency. But there are actually systems, like the economic system, the political system, the legal system, that act on us. A lot of